Hi, it's Sarah here from Tribal Impact, recording another tribal sketch. I've been meaning to do this one for a while actually, because I came back from inbound at the start of September and it's taken me this long to sort of crunch this one in my head. But HubSpot stood on stage and they basically talked about how the funnel was broken and the flywheel is the new thing. But I get it now and it does make a lot of sense. Right, so here we go. I'm just going to use this part of the screen. They talked a lot about the funnel, right? And traditionally it's split in half because marketing fills the top, right? With leads and all sorts, attracting people, lots of leads going here. And then about this point, we all have an argument with sales, because marketing's like, you're not following up on the leads. And sales is saying, well, they're not very good quality and blah, blah, blah. And sales then takes the last ones that are left out of that little debate, and then they move them through to closure. Now, if you're involved in social selling or content marketing, you'll understand this. Well, this is what is happening. So social selling is about teaching salespeople to move further up the funnel and to win the hearts and minds and become a trusted advisor with prospects, often before they know they've got a buying need themselves. So it's about moving those guys up. But actually, marketing's having to nurture much further down the funnel. They're having to, provide content, move them through the buyer journey, almost to the point of conversion. And so we don't have this, you go in the top and we'll move it down the bottom. These two have to work together. And this is basically where content fits, because if marketing and sales are working together, then this buyer journey is being, is all centered around the customer. Hence the flywheel. Whoops, hence the flywheel. Not sure what happened there. So they're saying the funnel is broken, long live the flywheel. And customers are at the center of this, and that's the key thing to mention. So they talk about these customers at the center. You've got marketing, sales, and service around that. And effectively what you do is you attract people, you engage them, and then you move them to the delight stage, which then attracts more people because you've created some advocates or promoters, as HubSpot calls them. And then you attract strangers who then become prospects on your website, who then become customers through sales engagement, and then so the cycle goes on. And this is called the flywheel. Now, there are three driving factors around the flywheel that you need to know about. And this is a bit that took me a while to get my head around, but I get it now. I'm just going to put a little stand there because, you can't have that standing on its own. I do love this whiteboard. Anyway, the first thing is force. Okay, so force is the first thing. We had a physics lesson at Inbound, as well as a biology lesson for anybody that was at Inbound. You'll know which talk I'm talking about. Anyway, force is the first thing. Force is what you put into your flywheel to get the momentum, to get the thing moving. And in marketing terms, this is content, right? So this is not content for content's sake. This is content that speaks to your buyer, and the only way you can create relevant content is to talk to sales. So here we go again. It's another like sales and marketing thing working together, and you actually have to you have to put force into your flywheel. It's not going to go on its own. You have to feed it and push it and spin it, and that is through content. So keep the flywheel going. Now, the second thing they talked about is friction, and friction is what slows your flywheel down. So once you've pumped and sort of invested and created content to move the flywheel and it's starting to go, then what happens is friction. So friction will be anything like that's difficult to do business with. So, people are getting into it, they understand what you're doing, they want to get a demo. Oh, you've got to call us, right? That's friction. And this slows your flywheel down. Anything that involves your customer having to, pick up the phone, stuff that they don't want to do. HubSpot are talking about a lot around self-service. Don't make it as easy as possible for your customers to buy from you. Don't slow the funnel down, make it as easy as possible. So all those elements of friction, people at the customer service line, if they don't have the authority to be able to fix things that are relatively of low value, just take the friction out of the flywheel and make the thing free will. So that's friction. The third thing, they call it, well, you can call it a couple of things, right? Weight, or it's about gaining momentum. All right, I don't know what you want to call it. I can't remember what they called it, but effectively it's about the more customers you bring into this. So the more customers, the more promoters you get. So the more you add weight to the flywheel, the more you're going to get momentum on its own. Okay, so you've taken the friction out, you've put force into it, you're getting the thing spinning, and then your customers will start to do this for you, and your flywheel gets bigger And when it gets bigger, it gets harder to stop, and so the thing goes, and then it starts looking like a beautiful, like Catherine wheel. In the UK, it's nearly fireworks night. Look it up on Google if you don't know what it's like. But you get these Catherine wheels that just look beautiful, and it spins on a stand, and it's like, you know, throws sparks out, and it just attracts people then, because once this thing gets momentum, people want to come and work for you. People, you know, from an HR point of view, people want to come and work with you, more customers. And they find you through great content and through your promoters. And so if you get the force, the friction and the weight, and it starts feeding itself, and you get the friction out, then this thing is going to start flying, hence Flywheel. And that is today's physics lesson at a very basic level, because I'm not really good at physics, but hopefully that was quite interesting, and you see the impact of how this works. So enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed that.